Happy February 4th, JLD here, and welcome to MicroStrategy. Today, in this show, we talk about the blackout period for ATM. Is it happening? We'll find out. Also, the sovereign wealth fund, why it's going to be great for Bitcoin and therefore for MicroStrategy. The next couple days are going to be insane. I dive into details as to why, the earnings call, etc. And then I have two amazing video clips of Michael Saylor, one about the importance of exceeding inflation, and then the other one is an awesome video you are not going to want to miss about Bitcoin during a crisis. This video is not financial advice, and please comment below if you like these daily videos, if you appreciate these daily videos. Let me know where you're coming from. I love your feedback. I love your comments, and let's dive right in. All right, today's first post is from Chris Millis. He says, Bitcoin bridges the gap between the physical world and the digital world. MicroStrategy bridges the gap between Bitcoin and TradFi. Do you understand? Then he has this great graphic here that I love about Bitcoin merging the two, MicroStrategy here being that refinery to traditional finance here. Chris, always sharing value bombs. Wanted to share this post from Bitcoin Overflow. It looks like the long rumored MSTR pre-earnings capital markets blackout period is here for about 1.5 weeks, except not totally black because they did the preferred stock offering, but the preferreds don't actually close until 2/5, which is earnings date. So still blackish. And this is from Michael Saylor's post of last week. MicroStrategy did not sell any shares of Class A common stock under its at-the-market equity offering program and did not purchase any Bitcoin. As of 2/2/25, we hodled 471,107 Bitcoin acquired for $30.4 billion at 64,511 per Bitcoin. MSTR, microstrategy.com/press/microstrategy. So the blackout period may be in effect. The rumor is here. We'll see. The price action will definitely show, and we'll be reporting on that. Also wanted to share this great tweet from Caroline Levitt. Happening now, President Trump signs an executive order calling for the creation of a sovereign wealth fund. And this is him doing so right here. And just scrolling back up for some commentary from Jeff Walton. The man on the right of Donald Trump is Howard Lutnick, the U.S. Secretary of Commerce. Howard is also CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald. A couple of fun details about Howard and Cantor Fitzgerald. One, Howard owns hundreds of millions of dollars of Bitcoin, and it's going to be billions. Two, Cantor Fitzgerald owns a 5% stake in Tether and manages Tether's treasury assets. And three, Cantor is launching a $2 billion Bitcoin financing lending business that would use Bitcoin as collateral for USD loans. Four, we will build the best platform for financing Bitcoin, is a quote from Howard. Another quote from Howard. Five, we are Cantor Fitzgerald and we will support Bitcoin. That's the guy that is running the U.S. Sovereign Wealth Fund. Buckle your seatbelts. Period. End of story. And as we all know, what's great for Bitcoin is great for MicroStrategy. Ben Workman says, the U.S. having a sovereign wealth fund is a massive deal for Bitcoin. Look no further than the individuals that will be in charge of guiding the investments of the fund. Follow the money. And of course, in the prior post, we talked about those individuals that will be in charge of guiding the funds. Ben says, what type of optionality does a company with $250 billion of unencumbered capital have in 5 to 10 years? As a quick piece of information, only 30 companies in the S&P 500 even have market caps higher than $250 billion today. So the answer is all the optionality. And of course, what Ben is referring to is that obviously MicroStrategy is going to have well over $250 billion of Bitcoin in the next 5 to 10 years, if not sooner. And what is that going to do for a company like MSTR? Everything. This is a great post by Bitmaster. Why do I think MSTR is ready to absolutely effing rip? One, the ATM about done. Artificial selling equals NAV/price compressed down. Two, converts plus preferred coming hard. NAV/price springs up. Three, Q4 earnings on Wednesday. We ripped right after Q3 earnings. And as a side note, I remember the Q3 earnings so well, and boy, did we rip. 4, Bitcoin hash rate at all-time highs. Again, what's great for Bitcoin is great for MicroStrategy, and Bitcoin hash rate being an all-time high is amazing for Bitcoin. 5, February is historically our third most bullish month. Go MSTR. 6, U.S. Sovereign Wealth Fund just announced. Talk about tailwinds, talk about catalysts, and we're just getting started. And of course, I have an epic post by Adam Livingston. Let's dive on through. MSTR earnings call plus David Sachs press conference equals stock price primed for mega explosion. The next 2 days are going to be wild, folks. In an unprecedented convergence of financial prowess and strategic foresight, MSTR is on the brink of a monumental surge. The upcoming earnings call, coupled with insights from industry titan David Sachs tomorrow, and that is actually now today, February 4th, at 1:30 p.m., sets the stage for an unparalleled ascent in MSTR's stock value. MicroStrategy's Accelerated 21-21 plan, a masterclass in capital deployments, originally envisioned as a 3-year roadmap to raise $42 billion split evenly between equity and fixed income instruments. MicroStrategy's 21-21 plan has defied expectations. In a mere 90 days, the company's achieved half of its ambitious target, showcasing an execution velocity that leaves traditional financial models in the dust. Trump's sovereign wealth fund, a tsunami of liquidity. Adding fuel to this financial inferno, President Donald Trump has signed an executive order to establish the U.S.'s first ever sovereign wealth fund. This initiative is poised to inject an astronomical amount of taxpayer-derived capital into strategic assets, potentially including high-performing companies like MicroStrategy. But you know dang well that Papa Trump will be stacking sats like no other in this fund. David Sachs, their strategic visionary. Enter David Sachs, a luminary in the tech and investment sectors. His upcoming press conference is anticipated to unveil insights that could further validate and amplify MicroStrategy's aggressive capital strategies. Sachs' endorsement or strategic alignment with Bitcoin would serve as a resounding affirmation of the company's trajectory, potentially attracting a new wave of institutional and retail investors. The perfect storm for MSTR's ascent. With the rapid execution of the 21-21 plan, the impending influx from the sovereign wealth fund, and the strategic insights from David Sachs, MicroStrategy is uniquely positioned for a stock price explosion. The confluence of these factors creates the perfect storm, setting the stage for MSTR to redefine market expectations and deliver unprecedented shareholder value. Seize the moment. The stars have aligned for MicroStrategy. As the company continues to outpace its own ambitious goals and external economic catalysts converge in its favor, the potential for MSTR stock is nothing short of astronomical. Investors would be wise to recognize this unique moment in financial history and position themselves accordingly. Now, this is JLD speaking. Adam's great. I love it. Just keep in mind, this guy is a bull of bulls. And I love it because why not? Why not have amazing excitement and expectations for a company that you know, like, trust, and love, like I do with MicroStrategy? But just know, this guy is very, very bullish. And by the way, this next guy is pretty bullish too. His name's Michael Saylor. He has 2 great videos I'm going to be sharing. One about exceeding inflation, the other about Bitcoin during a crisis. So Michael, take it away.
Yeah. Is that the gap between inflation and...
Really, if you could get to it a number of ways. One way to get to it is actually look at the expansion of the money supply. You know, and the money supply expanded maybe 7 or 8% over 100 years. And you could look at that, and then you could tack on a risk premium. I need to get that plus a risk premium. The money supply has been, if that was the case, the risk premium is normally 4 or 5%. So you go 7% plus 5% gets you to 12% cost of capital.
But the cost of capital is the cost of holding that capital and doing nothing with it.
Yeah. Another way to look at it is the S&P index might generate a 10 to 12% return. And so if I have $1 billion, my option as an investor is just put it in the S&P index and get the 12% diversified, kind of quote unquote risk-free equity return. So if the company is going to keep the money and they're going to invest it in a T-bill that generates 3% after tax, they should just give it to me. And even if I'm brainless, I just put it in the S&P index and generate 12% tax deferred. So that's the disconnect, right? You're destroying shareholder wealth if you're generating a tax deferred yield of less than 12%.
In 2020, it's like the stock is like $6 a share enterprise value. The company's enterprise value is $6 a share. And my choice is sell the company and retire or take a risk and open my mind. And I remember I'm sitting at my poolside next to my friend Eric Weiss, and it's March and the lockdowns hit and interest rates go to zero, and and the stock market's crashing, and and all hell is breaking loose. And I say, so tell me about that Bitcoin thing again. It's like, so that's what you'll find that when you look at people and they're one or the other, but it takes a while for a paradigm shift. You got to really need it or want it, and that's why it's an exponential process.
And there you have it. Michael Saylor dropping value bombs per usual. Now let's dive into Tracker Tuesday, where the stock price of MSTR closed yesterday at $347. We have a US S&P 500 ranking of 114 out of 500, which bumped them up 5 spots. The Bitcoin value per diluted share is $162 currently, with the MSTR share cost in Satoshis at 342,279. Right now, the NAV premium against diluted share is 2.138, ready for an explosion. So let's go with that. The Bitcoin price is at 99,000 currently. And we have the Bitcoin balance at 471,107 Bitcoin, a total cost basis of 30 billion with a unrealized profit loss of 16 billion for a return percentage of 53%. We have some exciting things coming up when it comes to the convertible notes that will be issued, as well as the preferred stock, and seeing how that plays out. So a lot of fun things happening. And let's move on over to the dollar cost average of the day. Yesterday, I filled at $329. I made a $200 and almost $11 purchase. I'm buying $210 a day, every trading day for the rest of the year. This Saturday, I will have a full explanation and visual of how my DCA portfolio is doing since January 1st, and it's been quite a blast. Now, my friends, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please like this show. It means a lot. I look at those likes and I say, do people actually appreciate these videos? Do they like this content? And then, of course, the comments. Let me know where you're watching from, because we love that data. And comments, I respond to every single comment, because we love the interactions. We love the conversations, and a lot of them are happening in the comment section below. But remember, this video is not financial advice, and there is no second best.
What's the second best? There is no second best.